Hello, living in Boulder vlog. Right now it's 12:45, April 25th. This will be April 25th video. I don't remember which day was the last one. I'm more or less sober now. I pretty much sobered up because I ran out of money and I can't buy any more weed. I could go into credit card debt, but I don't want to go into credit card debt again. And I can't borrow any more money. I don't feel right about borrowing more money from my mom because I got $12,500 from her this winter. I'm not supposed to talk about that, but so I'm kind of getting painted into a corner here. But I think I can do a better job probably with my timeline if I'm sober because it's a little bit complicated. Like it's a lot more complicated than what I'm used to. There's decisions I have to make, artistic decisions, because the timeline was never finished. It was like halfway through. I was still on a designing stage when my car broke down in the end of 2011, and that's when I pretty much abandoned it. I worked on it again in the latter half of 2012 and the beginning of 2013, or most of 2013, but that was just stuff that I was already working on. It was like tribes in China. Anyways, so I was working on that yesterday. That's what I'm doing yesterday, or was doing yesterday, and I'm going to do today. The timeline. The idea was to work full force on my website until the end of April, and so I have one more week. This week I'm going to go full bore and see what I can do and then for next week, I'll be sober, so we'll think about coming up for air and doing more like well-rounded life maintenance type of stuff, like selling my car. My mom, oh shit! I forgot to turn these lights on. My mom is going to help me sell my car, so that's cool. She even offered me to drive it to her house, but so that'll help. My mom didn't want me to lower the price. That's maybe one reason nobody's interested in my car, but it's worth $23. Everything's new on it. Engine's new. So yesterday, I did do a new thing on my website. It's this thing that I was thinking about forever. So in 2011, I was going to do it. Yeah, it's generations. So for the first, I have my timeline set up. Maybe if I remember, I'll put the link. If not, just go to my BouldeRoman page. Just go to education, BouldeRoman, and then timeline, BouldeRoman timeline. And I also made the time chart. And so that's later to align the dates. But I made the generations for the first 1,000 years. Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. My timeline starts, it's the Roman timeline. So if you go on Wikipedia and you type like 485 BC, it'll also tell you what year in the Roman calendar was, because that's the calendar we all use. And so my timeline, the year 244 in the Roman calendar, that's also 244 in my calendar because I'm starting at the same date. But I have generations. Every 33 years I created a generation because I was listening to, and I wanted to do this before, but I was listening to Young Turks last night, and they were talking about some dude, and they're like, yeah, they believe in the generational cycle, and that we're the bad generation, fucking crazy guys. And I was like, oh, really? And I went and I Googled it, Wikipedia'd it, and these guys wrote a book about, for like the last 1,000 years or something, they have each generation with a name and a characteristic, and they have patterns. Every 4 generations, it cycles back to the same. So it's like, like crisis generation, rebel generation, comfortable generation, lazy generation, back to crisis generation, that type of thing. I'm Generation X, and I guess we're like the lazy generations, and the millennials are like the hard workers or something. I don't know. But Generation rocks. We're the best. We're the smartest. Anyway. So they and the Wikipedia, they're like, yeah, it averages about 33 years. I made mine average 33 years, three per century, because that's what Herodotus used as what he considered a generation when he predicted how far back the priests of Sais went, because they had priests 300 around their temple, and he figured 11,000 years. But yeah, and like my mom was 33 when I was born, so it's a good date to have kids. And so in my little timeline here, I have the guy, each guy, because it's one family for my television show. Each guy lives 100 years. He each has his kid when he's 33. So he knows his grandkid until his grandkid's 33, and then he dies. And then, each person would know his grandfather until they're 33, and that kind of a thing. And so when I do the show, I would act out the midsection, and you can actually see it illustrated because the mid third is pretty much the size of their names, and so it's like so I would be like Ambustus, and then when he turned 66, I become Brutus when he's 33 until 36. So everybody in the prime of their life, and then the other guys would kind of become, I guess, secondary figures. So yeah, this is what I did. If this what I just said sounds totally confusing, because it's pretty out of the box. Just look at the page, and I explain it there, or I will explain it there, but it'll make sense once I explain it and like have it organized and everything. The danger with a big website like mine is that when you build it all the same and none of it's done, then nobody's going to get it, and they're just going to think you're crazy, and you're going to be like me, where you have only 10 people on the entire planet at any given time on your website, and 75% of the people are there for the very first time. So. Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. It's huge to polish. So that's what I'll be doing the rest of the year. Just polishing, slash finishing. So yeah, I'm doing the timeline here. Rome. It's going to be good because it's fucking fascinating. Because I'm literally learning the history of Rome just by building this timeline. Anyways, I think I've talked long enough. It's pretty much like my first sober video. I talk a lot faster when I'm sober and louder, so people can understand me more, and I probably make more sense. So I'll try to put a green screen up. I don't like doing my YouTube videos with just this green background. It looks unprofessional. I'd rather just put stuff back there, but it might not look all that good, all of it, because I forgot to turn the lights on. So I'll have to fast forward it to the part where the light's on when I do the green screen stuff, I think. Anyways, peace out. Talk to you tomorrow.